Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another episode of Pep Talks. Today is Monday, the 11th of April. Good morning, Hadassah. How are you?
Good morning, Limbs. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Happy Monday, guys. I am doing okay, Limbs. I feel like I don't know if I'm caught in the twilight zone. The weekend felt a bit surreal, but I guess we will get into that today. How are you doing, though?
I'm all right. I realized it's the last week really home with the children before school physically open, so I kind of have a lot of work to do. So
Yeah, but generally, your feeling is, I feel like if you've had to homeschool your kids for such an ongoing period, you must be feeling a little bit of relief.
yeah,
Do you feel that, or are you feeling more, I don't know, concern, more dread, trepidation?
I feel more relief because I could see where two out of the three children didn't do well with online learning. Right, my big daughter, she didn't cope with online schooling. She needs that interaction,
Yeah.
and my son as well needed that interaction because all how you try with him, he thinking online is just about play and nothing serious. He thinks it's not serious. My daughter, the smaller one, she was able to improve a lot. She adapted well to online. So I don't know
Okay.
how she will do going back to regular.
Right, right, right.
So yes, I saw the huge difference there because my son didn't get an opportunity to go in primary school. He left preschool straight into primary school and it was just COVID. So 2 years he home. He doesn't know what primary school is like at all. So it's going to be a shock when he actually starts
Yeah.
next week Tuesday.
That would be an interesting shift.
And my main concern though with the ministry, they said that no online classes. And my main concern with that is children, because they're saying children who show up with runny nose or fever will be sent home. And you have to come back with a negative PCR test or some kind of thing, right? So what how children plan to get the education for those couple days that they would be home for?
No, especially if it is found that
They're
they are
positive.
actually sick with COVID
Yeah.
and they would require the 14-day incubation period. Is it that they are just supposed to be left behind for 14 days?
That
Or
is
I
what
guess
I'm wondering because that is
the over.
foolishness. You should have an online system still, at least send the work via Google Classroom still, so that the children who sick home could still catch up, could still do the work. Even the ones in school now who going back out to school could still have a backup of work there, you know?
Um,
I don't know. It's like, okay, you move forward in the 21st century, you get a taste of it, and right, COVID over. So we're going back to the dinosaur age. Right in.
yeah, I mean, we really need to find a way for, I guess, traditional learning and technology to coexist in the same space, because I even feel for the benefit of parents that there should be an online portal where parents can go, teachers could go and talk about children's progress, where you don't necessarily have to come into the school to see Miss could tell you how your child doing, what
Yeah.
they're struggling with. Um, and you also know, okay, this is what was covered in terms of the curricula or in terms of material this week. So you as a parent always up to date, you know what homework was assigned, you know when it's due. I
Yeah.
really feel like that could be very helpful and take
Yes.
a lot of stress out of every individual parent having to call miss or text miss. There are some advantages to that that I believe that the government should explore. But again, just you and me, regular citizens wanting better for everybody, we can sit and think about these things, and you kind of always ask yourself, why is it that the most obvious solutions always seem as though, the PNM literally does need an Einstein to come down from the clouds and part the heavens to let them know, well, this is the direction that you should be the
Yeah.
going in. And all the talks that you would have had with tutor in terms of, consultation that they would have done before the reopening of school, did not this come up as a topic?
Well, that is if they had any discussion with tutor. Remember, our ministry is very high-handed. This is what we want, and all they just adapt to it. It's they don't have consultation and conversation. I tell you, the Minister of Education was supposed to have the president and tutor WhatsApp every minute. That's supposed to be your best friend. You call in every minute. This is what we want to do. Let me hear your thoughts one time before we go unannounced to the public. What is the Parent Teachers Association saying?
Exactly.
This is how it's supposed to be. This it's supposed to be a marriage between the two. Not
It's
this is
supposed to
how
be a
I
marriage.
roll, and you do it so, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But I
And
think
and you could understand why the disconnect would happen, and why, well, I guess the collateral damage, the people who would actually feel it will be the children who actually fall through the system. But it
yes,
actually is supposed to be all the stakeholders involved, all the parents, all the teachers, and the ministry working in tandem to get one result, which is, better performance for kids, safer environments,
yeah.
just things like that.
And the
But
thing is that if
not
you're
at all.
watching the Ministry of Health updates, it seems as though we picking back up with a COVID thing, because I saw where there were what 2 deaths or something yesterday and 200 new cases or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
For the carnival rump, no pods, no mask, all that foolishness. Yeah, those cases now coming back there. So, and the teachers and the principals already said they have the temperature monitors there in front of the school. So from the time your child thing and the temperature is high, they're telling your child to sit down outside there and wait half an hour, check your temperature again. When you check the temperature, if the child's temperature does not go down, and let's say it goes up a little, nope, you going home. Right? Now, a child could get fever for several different reasons. It's either a cold, they're fighting off some bacteria inside. If you're losing a tooth and it growing out, some children get fever for things like that. And they're gonna stress out children with that.
Yeah. How are you going to actually determine
So
that?
so every time, let's say a child get the first week they're losing a tooth, they get fever. So what I must go and let them shove this thing up my child's nose every single time this child get fever. Somebody else come in the class with fever because they fighting off allergies or whatever. Because look at the Beaton landfill alone infecting everybody. Everybody walking around, their nose running, they sneezing, they coughing. You don't think it will affect children too? You come in school with a runny nose or whatever the case is, or you're sneezing, everybody will be watching the child.
Hmm.
So every minute you're going to be sending children for that kind of testing.
Yeah. I mean, my main concern is, if it is they find that a child is not well and the child is actually positive with COVID, my concern would really be what happens to that child in the 2 weeks that
You lose
he or
out
she
plenty.
has to be he or
Plenty.
she has to be at home. And this is exactly what um is the type of thinking that or how you're supposed to be evolved in your thinking after the pandemic. That would have shown us, okay, we were grossly underprepared. We didn't think something like this could happen. The way that you now go about executing new initiatives or relaunches and stuff like that will actually prove that a certain amount of learning has taken place. And so far, I am not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. But we had a eventful weekend this weekend.
Those of you don't know,
Happened. A lot have happened in the
this
country lately.
weekend, this Saturday, my team, we went up to Maloney to do a walkabout. And I have never been in Maloney before in my life. I've only passed it on the highway. And as always, every time I pass it, I always get fret when I see those red cubicle Lego blocks apartments. And every time I see that, I be like, how these people is like, as be amazed. How you fit a water tank on that very small balcony? How does that balcony hold up the tank plus the weight of the water, the vibration that would be causing, and not collapse, not destroy? How HDC could allow that? That's a hazard in itself. Then other things I noticed, the apartments don't have fire escapes, they don't have emergency exits, not even one of those roll down ladders or staircases that you could pull out to escape if it have a fire. So this is things that I always watch for, and I would be like, God boy. But we actually went in Maloney. And going in there, I was expecting it to be a little bit more scary, but according to a guy in one of the comments on my video, he said that's because I went during the day. If I went in the night is a different story. Nevertheless, we went in, we went by the People Mall, and that is where everybody assembled. We did our walk, we met a community leader, we spoke to him at length. He walked around with us talking about the general, how things are up there. And, I just asked basic questions. I like the video with the guns and all those things. That's really Maloney. And he laughed. He talked about, yes. So we spoke about basically what everybody else outside of Maloney sees on video. That is what we spoke about while we were walking around. And, I asked him, I was like, so, Maloney has the same kind of stigma like Beaton or Sealots, where you're not coming inside of there unless you have a reason to come inside of there. You're not coming in there unless you know who you're going to and the person waiting for you. And, everybody know, right, you going to that person. It's like you wouldn't just drive in the Beaton like that unless you have a specific reason you're going to somebody's house. You know the person or whatever the case is. Because when you park up there, we're like, our car's safe there, right? We're like, yeah, don't worry. Nobody will interfere with all your. Okay, fine, cool. And we went in one of the apartments, and HDC is poorly managing those apartment buildings. The grass isn't cut on time. The general outlook, there are no, as usual, no bins, no dustbins for you buy a soft drink or the lolly man. There's no bin right there for you to throw a piece of wrapper. Basic things again that just lacking from the community. No set of fruit trees. The usual thing you will see everyone is like, oh gosh, we're in Trinidad. So why it is all you couldn't, when you're building these apartments, in between the two apartments, you could have put up like a little pomerac tree, a Julie mango, cherry tree. The basic thing so people could get a little shade under the trees. And, you'll encourage children to come out and who don't know especially about those basic fruits and something so people could sit down under the mango tree and chill or whatever the case is. And I asked him all of that and he laughed. He's like, nah, have nothing like that here. He said, we have to do everything ourselves. HGC don't send anybody. to clean up these places. And I asked him, I say, how it is there's call all your apartments plannings. But when you're doing it in Westmoreland, it's not known as plannings. It's known as apartments and condos. And he just watched me and he's like, he say, yeah, I don't know. He said, because it's the ghetto is black people. I don't know. Right? But it's the same sad because when you go Westmoreland's houses are the same way, very small, real close to each other, cramped. It's just that they're in an upscale community, right? But the same things go on, the same crime, the same, well, I wouldn't say the exact same crime, but I mean, they're on a different level. Remember, they had a whole lot of drug busts recently, well, in the
Yeah.
last year or so, where, they find dead people with drugs and all kind of thing. Headless body found in Westmoreland already. It was all drug related, but you don't hear drug related gang warfare from Westmoreland. They just try to, sugarcoat it for you. But the general atmosphere in Maloney is the same in any PNM constituency, and well, I guess, and in some UNC areas too. Neglect,
Depressive, heavy, depressive,
yeah,
yeah.
heavy, no upward movement, no change, nothing. It's just like, yeah,
Yeah, and I mean the thing about it is we seeing that, but the hashtag Camille Cares trending on Facebook because apparently they don't want us in the area because PNM is doing a really good job, which is the scary part, which is the baffling part that you're walking through these buildings and you're literally seeing the oppression on the people, you're seeing the suffering, you're seeing the poverty, you're seeing the lack of opportunity, the lack of hope, and they will watch you in your face and tell you ISPNM. And I wrestled with this for the whole weekend. I'm like, ISPNM, what the hell does that even mean? What does that mean? It means that you're okay with suffering, you're okay with your potential being stifled, you're okay with your community literally just being a concrete jungle with no jobs, with poor infrastructure. The buildings are not maintained. The buildings were once red buildings. They are a weird grayish creamish color
and you
now,
notice that
years
is
and
only the
years
ones on
and
the
years
inside,
of
right?
neglect. Yeah.
The one on the outside that the public sees when they're passing up and down the highway is red. That one is constantly red. It doesn't fade, it doesn't change. The ones on the inside is the ones that they just don't care about.
Yeah, and I realized that is two things happening here. There, the people in that area have an idea of what progress is, of what help is, and I forget what was the other thing I was going to say, but that is what I realized that we cannot help everybody, Lima. I recognize that this weekend as it is not self-defeating. This is not me, you know, I've just came to the realization that even the Bible say don't, cast your pearls before swine and stuff like that. Maloney might have to be one of those areas that when they see the collective movement and progress of the entire country under different government, then they may be so inclined to shake off what they have known and vote differently.
Oh, that's
But
a,
I cannot understand how you would not even have a conversation with somebody, right? And it's also it's a level of thinking too. There's a lot of ignorance that permeates the entire place. Just we could say it as it is, right? And these are people who are not used to critically thinking and saying, I have voted this way all my life. I have tried this all my life. I have not necessarily been successful, or there have not been a lot of gains from doing this. Let me try something else. Let me talk to somebody else. Um, what you get is people accusing you of being a self-loathing black person. They will call you a disgrace
That's
because
that's that's only PNM up there people would say that racist foolishness when
you
was
have
beyond
chosen.
better. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it in the capacity that in Maloney I didn't see anybody else. There were only black people living in the area, right? Um, and if there are other people living there, I didn't see them. But generally, um, Maloney represents a portion of the population that is Afro-Trinbagonian. So yeah, and there's a lot of
And just like those in Laventille, they are left behind, abandoned, and living in depressed, ghetto, crime riddled communities where there's a stigma attached to the names of these communities. And if they can't see that that's a problem, because the same crime, the same drugs and drug running happens in Westmoreland, but there's no stigma to Westmoreland. There's the stigma to Maloney, Laventille, Beaton, John, Sealots, certain parts of Diego Martin, certain parts of Belmont, certain parts of Gonzales, Mover, right? So they just want to remain like that. But Nathaniel would have also gone with us and he would have been wrestling with this whole, because he told me that, the residents of Maloney disappointed him. And I said, no, I said, that's not all. That is one or two. I said, had a few people we bounced up who were like, yes, I know Philip. And yes, I support his party. I like his ideas. So it had people who were willing. It had people who were interested in change, right? So when we got there, this is before you came, Hadass, and we were talking to the guys in that same community apartment building, and they had the general mentality that I'm not asking the government for nothing. I had to get up and hustle and do it myself. I don't vote, right? And I had to show him, I say, yeah, you don't vote. I say, but the people in your area voting, and all they keep voting for the same people that you have a problem with because you're seeing where there's no change. You're not getting jobs. Look at the general, look at all your apartment place. I say, and it's the same person who has always been here in charge. I say, so if you don't try something different, how you expect to get change? It's like, yeah, but we don't like UNC. I said, I understand that. I said, but it have other options now. It have other options. I say, at first when I had given him the pamphlet, he said he didn't want to read nothing. Da, 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 da. I say, right. I say, here it is. I'm giving you an option now, a third option. And you're being ignorant because you don't want to read it at least or browse through it to know that there is a different party. And he started to listen. So he's like, all right, family, I'll take it and I'll read it. And then when he started to go through it, he read the first one, which is home ownership.
for all. Yeah.
So I said, yes. I said, do you believe that everybody is entitled to a home? And he said, yes. I said, but you realize some people paying rent and their rental fee is way more than
Then
what
again.
they would have been able to take out as a mortgage on a monthly basis. He said, yeah. He said, how is that? I say, right. Yeah. I say, this is where if you vote for change, your government's supposed to work for you. I say, the fact that all you keep repeating PNM inside of here. And all you're seeing that this community is being left behind. All you're stifled. I say, what jobs did this come and give all you? What, the paying the plannings alone? I said, that is all the contracts all you can get inside of here, right? He say, yeah, and then they go on to, he say, the last time they had bring outsiders to do the work. And that's what had make a big issue about it. I say, exactly. I say, so if you continue reading our policies there, you would see where we would say to cut out those 1% contractors. So we would find a contractor in the area the labor has to come from the area as well. I say, I'm not saying there wouldn't be a representative watching over. I say, but the representative wouldn't be from here. It could be somebody from the Ministry of Works who would
Yeah.
come to oversee the entire job, the project manager or whatever the case is. And then we started to go through that. And then I say, look at that. I say, the education system. I say, you don't think that could change? SCA should be abolished? He's like, yeah, that exam. He's like, that is pressure on children. I say, exactly. I say, we should have something more inclusive where everybody could learn. And then he started to say the same thing that the policy said, where he's like, yeah, so all the children could learn. He's like, so it's in no junior second, no school like that. Everybody get the same quality of education. I say, exactly. I said, that is in the policy there. I say, so all them children who fighting down in Superior School and Penal, where they will be, you've seen them all over social media on in videos fighting. For God alone knows what. They would have the same opportunities as all of them in Fatima, Naps, Lakshmi Girls, etc. And he was like, yeah, I like that. He said, that's the better thing.
Yeah, I think maybe I need to rephrase what I said. I feel like once given the opportunity to talk to people, when you start to reason with people, you just almost see their eyes twinkle and like realization does hit them. Well, I guess we will get to the fact that they are the powers that be actually want to block us from working in that community, from campaigning in that community, and whatnot. So while the media is on a frenzy this week with PDP opening their new office, right? I telling everybody to look at that. If the PNM does not perceive Watson Duke in Trinidad as a threat, he will get all the radio play, all the newspaper play, all the news
Yeah, but yes, what
TV
TTT,
play.
Harriet, live.
Yeah, all of that. So you have to wonder what it is about the PDP that the PNM is not afraid of. But six PEP representatives walking in a PNM constituency would literally cause people to come out of the woodwork and call police on us and threaten us and harass us. Right? So that is what it is. You're being blocked from even presenting an opportunity for change to the people. Why are you holding on to that constituency if you have no intention whatsoever to uplift it, to improve it, to
What are
make
you
it
worried
better?
about if Camille cares? And if that's the kind of care Camille have for Maloney, Jesus Christ. I don't want that kind of care. I am very sorry. That's not care, that's neglect. Right?
Yeah.
But again, so while we were walking with him and we were walking out, he's listening to the conversations we having when we talking. You know, the guy told us, you know, when you're coming back, I want you to come back. I said, all right, I'll try to come back with the team again. I say, but they all know the person who we had walking up there. So while we're walking out now of the apartment building, that's when you came harass her. And we were going back to the food court to see. Even the mall was, you know, depressed. No life, no buzz, nothing.
There are
Nothing.
probably 2 stores open in the mall. The ones that remain somehow managed to make it through COVID. The others did not. The mall is just like a depressed shell.
Yeah.
If only one place open in the food court. Everybody else has succumbed and suffered through the pandemic.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, and it's like there was no on agency's part, there was no zeal to get those places, to get them all up and running and buzzing again. No sign saying for rent, call this number. Nothing. It's like you just okay with the place being empty and dead like that. Run down the food court. The food court remind me of Central Market food court. Hot and uncomfortable. So while we were sitting down in the food court, It was four of us on one table and you and David on another table. And in walks this lady and she's watching us like if you know you're in a demon possessed place and we are the ones to come to exorcise the place and the demon is activated, like what you doing here.
Yeah.
That is how she came in.
I was paying attention to her from the moment she walked in. I was just
I
looking at her.
did
I was
not.
like,
My back was turned, so I just saw her walk
yeah,
in, and I heard when the guy next to her say, "But hey, she coming here no morning." But I didn't take it on. Is when I heard her on the phone, and she stood up right behind us. So, but I honestly thought she came to the cubicles behind because she probably came to look at it to say, well, right, you're going to open up a new restaurant or some kind of thing there. So I honestly, that was my thought. I thought that was what was going on there. And then I heard, yes, about six of them. And then I saw when you asked us, is she speaking about us?
no, I came until I said, you guys, I believe this lady is making a call on us because she
Right.
started to describe to whoever she was on the phone. Yes, it is six of them. They in PP jerseys. They sit down in the food court, whatnot. So I recognize, like, but she bothered
Yeah.
that we did. Go ahead.
And then Hadassah got up and she's like, hi, excuse me. And true Hadassah, polite, non-confrontational, like a little bubbly Mary Poppins. Hi, morning. Are we doing something wrong? Hadassah, I sorry, but if we was going to school and we were friends, I'd accost you. I'd be like, Hadassah, so somebody come and saw you be like that? But
No,
never
but
your approach
yeah,
was
it's not that.
but Hadassah was like if you throw holy water on a woman because she just instantly flare up. You can't
Yeah.
speak to me. I am PNM. You cannot speak to me. And Hadassah is like, okay, I am stepping back. And I watching this like what is happening? What is going on?
Lemma, if you saw how that woman face twist up and contort, what I felt coming from her was this visceral hate
That is
and
how
disgust. And I just thought I, as a younger person, will approach respectfully this older person because I genuinely, at that point, did not think it was a PNM thing. I literally thought that maybe the mall was closed, maybe we were trespassing, maybe we were not. I really wanted to understand if indeed we were perhaps doing something wrong that she could let us know so that we could correct it.
but
That
I don't
was
think
really,
that was not her. That's not the approach to take even self if we were doing something wrong. Because I started to think, so I asked him, I said, the food got closed or something? He's like, no. He's like, the mall open. He's like, the place open back. So I was like, well, what's the problem then? What we do? What is the problem? He's like, yeah, no, what's the problem? He said, because I sitting down here talking to Olia. And Olia is from a different party. And the woman had to get her. I tell you, it's just the same way when you throw holy water on a demon, because that's how they just flare up and want to curse, and that is how PNM people's be getting on. Remember I told you for election campaign when Maurice, Dominic, Christian, all of us walking through Gloucester Road, and this woman just heard Philip's video because Maurice was playing the videos on the loudspeaker. That woman heard that and came out and started to cuss us and get on with us,
yeah,
And
yeah,
all we want to end up in parliament to thief. So I was
yeah,
like, she's not seeing who they are now and what they're doing.
yeah.
And this is my problem because she's that same campaign manager. By the way, that was Camille Robinson's campaign manager who got on like that with us, right? So after she couldn't get her way with us, she went from Hadassah now to tell David Welsh that he's a disgrace to Black people and that how he should be in jail. So I was like, but what? I said, for what? Then while she's on the phone, I assume it was the counselor she was speaking to because he came a little while after. And when he realized what was going on, he spoke to Nathaniel and it's like Nathaniel knew him. right? So they bounce, they talk. And then when the man went to talk to the woman, Nathaniel got up to speak. And the counselor was the only person able to calm her down. And that's when I got up and I went to him and I asked, I said, hi, what is the problem here this morning? Is it that we're not supposed to be in the mall? And he's like, no, we can't stop you from being in the mall. I was like, well, what is the problem? He's like, he doesn't have a problem. I was like, fine, what is her problem? And he couldn't answer. And I just was like, right, so this is a PNM problem that Pep is in the area. And he did not want to say yes, but that is what it was. I said, okay, fine. And then the lady said, yes, she could speak to me. So I was like, what is the problem? She said, we don't want the community leader that we were working with, him inside of here, and we don't want David Welch inside of here. So I was like, why you don't want David Welch inside of here? Now I thinking, David come and do some heinous crime in Maloney before and flee, right? So she was like, if you have to say that, then you and all. So I was like, so I asked the counselor, I was like, again, what is David Welch's problem here? Who white fowl he thief up here? And she said, he said, because I said, what happened to David over the weekend have nothing to do with here, today, what we doing, our purpose, our plan. I said, so she just having a personal attack on David. That is her personal problem, and she needs to take that up with Jesus Christ in prayer. You don't bring that problem out here because he didn't do anything to you personally. Right? So for her to get on like that, and then you're going on about, oh, he's a disgrace to Black people. How? So the Prime Minister is not a disgrace to Black people when he wants to talk about cat and camera drunk all over the place and women have to be groomed like golf course. And if they ain't groomed, they'll turn to pasture, right? All that is not embarrassment.
It's perception. And the woman was so aggressive because when I recognized there was a problem, I took out my phone and she come in my face.
Yeah.
She so supposedly care about social distancing and I can't talk to her without wearing my mask. That I have my phone out. Come in my face to yell and scream at me, don't take my picture, right? Or what she will do to me if I take her picture. So Christian had to move from where he was on the other table to come and sit next to me to be a barrier between her and me because it looked like she was going to get physical. I want you guys to understand this woman could be my mother 3 times over, right?
Yes, she was
at no point in time did she conduct herself in a manner that says, I am the elder here, I am going to take charge of the situation, whatnot.
And when she couldn't
very disrespectful.
You see how much people she called? She called the mall manager, head of security. She called some thugs from the area. But again, according to the community leader who we were with, he said she will call everybody she feel. He's like, and the people will come and see what going on and then just walk away. He said, because once I am sitting here, nothing could happen. So I was like, you sure about that? He bawled, yes, I am dead serious. He said, you know what's the problem? They can't have me in this kind of environment where I could come and sit down and casually talk and think. He's like, she don't know what we're talking about. She don't know what we're talking about. He's like, we're not even talking politics. He's like, if I plotting against this government or planning anything, he's like, I go do it in the open like this? No, you wouldn't know when I doing that. He said, but we casually having a conversation here. And you know, people, we were talking about horoscopes. We were talking about real foolish, non-political things, eh?
Yeah, because the walk was over and we were just coming away from the sun to drink some water and to catch our breath or whatnot. So at one point, I pulled her, she pulled me aside and she said she wanted to talk to me. And I was like, okay, no problem. So I was like, I still maintaining what my mother taught me, and I am not about to throw kerosene on a fire. I am not trying to aggravate the problem. So I was like, yes, my name is Hadassah. I'm actually, I live not too far away from here. Whatnot, what is your name? The woman was like, I'm not giving you my name. I don't trust you. And I was like, lady, so we cannot even exchange pleasantries. We having a conversation and what I would like to do is to try to understand where is all this hostility coming from, right? Right? She couldn't finish saying what she was saying. She couldn't articulate. She couldn't tell me what the problem was. Left me outside, turned her back, and flunks away. No
Unstable
problem.
behavior. That is unstable behavior. That is when the demon already ready to fly out and and transform the body into what it actually looks like. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
exorcist we was in there,
Yeah.
and that is Linda that was possessed there,
Yeah.
right? And I up to now I still don't understand, and I laugh at that entire situation because it was uncalled for, totally uncalled for. Everybody a call came, talk to the guys who we were with, and ask what's the problem. And when we told them, they just shake their head and say, "Boy, Ellie, don't study that now. Don't study that. She can't do all or nothing." Right? And when she realized that everybody she called on the line knew the people we were with and were good with the people, she decided to call police. And the police came so fast, too fast.
I was quarreling about that because I was like, but look at this abuse. Because they will come for foolishness like this.
But I want to
But
know what is the
when,
report she told them for them to come like that, because they came in with
yeah,
aggression too.
yeah,
They
yeah,
came in with aggression and then they went straight to David about mask, this, that, the other. So that is when I got upset again. And I was like, but we drinking water. Well, how you want me to drink the water? Through the mask?
hmm,
And that is all they could have told us. Wear your mask. Wear your mask.
yeah, right? And the point I was making is that, but when it is citizens actually in trouble and they call the police or they don't show up, but this woman with whatever perceived self-importance she has, right, with the flick of her wrist, could dial the police for nothing, and
Yeah.
they come and they show up. And I was like, so what citizen was calling the police officers at this exact same moment who could not get help
Mm-hmm.
because some self-important PNM sycophant
Yeah.
thought that Pep being in Maloney was of more importance, right? And she tried to make it out to be all kind of things, right? When I specifically heard her on the phone, right? They have to know that you cannot come in Maloney and do what you want. What does that mean? What does that mean? All you have a lock on Maloney? All you feel all you own the people in Maloney?
This is her, ladies and gentlemen. This is the
Yes.
woman, right? She looks older now, obviously, but that was her. The only picture I was able to get. And then after that, she's going around trying to figure out all who live in the area and where. So again, what, you're trying to come now to victimize the people who live in the area? This is what she had on the day when she was getting on, right? Up and down. The woman could have got a heart attack, right? And no ambulance would have come in Maloney.
Can you stop the demon reference? Andrew, no offense, we are just trying to draw a reference. We trying to explain to you what our experience was.
Listen,
She
Andrew,
literally,
you were
she really behaved as somebody who was possessed and the demon was aggravated. That is how she behaved. There was no need for her to come up in my face and to yell and to scream
pointing.
and to point and to threaten. That is how she behaved, right? At no point she didn't say, well, I am not particularly happy with you guys being here, but I cannot stop you. You guys have every right to be whatever, whatever. I was concerned that you guys were sitting together and you wasn't wearing a mask. She had every opportunity. She had every opportunity to do that, and she did not do that. We're not trying to be disrespectful
You
to
would have
Christians or
seen
anything like that. We're just trying to draw a parallel because we
it
cannot
had
find
demon in
any
every
other
room.
way to
It had demon in
describe
every
how that
room.
happened.
But what you said about that? If her behavior showed that is what it was, how else you want me to explain it? That is how she got on. Because when she saw us, she was already vexed when we sat down there.
Yeah,
She came in angry. It's not to say she came in and forced them to
automatically
get angry.
incensed. The
Yeah,
woman was incensed. She was incensed. And the nicer we were to her,
it's like the
the
more vex she get.
the more vex, you know?
And it's not, you can't even say vex, because that is not vex. That was livid, like you're foaming at the mouth, you're ready to scream. First you're angry and you're, I don't even know what is the next level after angry. It
But that
wouldn't
does not even
happen here.
demonstrate, it doesn't even demonstrate confidence. If you are confident that a particular party
Yes.
now holds a particular constituency, if you are confident that they are doing all that they can for the constituency, that the schools in the area are up to par, and the infrastructure is maintained, and the roads are good, and the buildings are clean, and there are green spaces and parks and jobs that are always advertise in the area, so that to make sure that the employment is high. If you know that you are doing every possible thing, if you are confident, then why behave like that? Why
Exactly.
six, why six young people walking in an area upsetted you so much?
And the thing is that, Hadassah, I said it in the video that I did after, right? Then same elderly woman would say that young people disrespectful and young people have no respect. But you, as the mature one, she was the oldest one there out of all of us. And look how she got on in such a disrespectful manner, right? And then to go on social media to see Trisha go there and posting up, Pep, you are not welcome in Maloney Garden. Sorry, the people embarrassed you guys today. The people didn't embarrass us. The woman
It was
embarrassed
not the
herself.
people. Yes, it's true.
Embarrassed herself
It's true.
because of
And I
her
mean, I have to
behavior.
say, with all this stigma that Maloney has, at no point in the walk where when I joined you, I did not feel unsafe. I didn't feel threatened, whatever. The most scared and
Was in that
threatened I felt was
behavior.
that woman's behavior. And I was like, you really mean I could make her papers, I could make her news, because you're going and call police and all kind of thing for a non-issue?
Yeah.
I felt so unsafe. I keep saying, "Oh, they're ready to go. Oh, they're ready
Yeah.
to go."
Yeah. So that's, I was like, are they ready to go? And I was like, no, we're not leaving. We not. I say I will sit down. I will, as a matter of fact, I will drink another water. We're not leaving.
Ooh,
That is, she was out of place, right? And if Camille cares so much, how it is, half of the hydrants there. Well, I only saw two. The people in the area don't know if they're working, right? All the apartment buildings have no fire escape, no nothing. So I asked the guy, I said, so here this now. I said, if you have an emergency inside of those apartments, how are you getting out?
yeah,
He said the same way you're coming in. I said, right, but if that is blocked, how are you coming out?
yeah.
There you jump. I was like, right, so fire service at least coming to teach all you the proper way to jump out of the building, right? And he started to laugh. He said, you draw a good point there, because I don't think anybody in those buildings is think about that. I said, no. I said, when you go
And
think
that
about it, when you're trapped.
and that is why I am unapologetically a member of the Progressive Empowerment Party. Right? This is not about sycophancy and party loyalty. I would love to see a government installed that do things for people, that do things for a community that they're not even thinking about. The people in Maloney don't understand the value of having parks and green spaces. We will do it. The people in Maloney don't understand how important it is that the area is clean, and the infrastructure is up to par, and that there are fire escapes on their buildings, and the buildings are maintained and clean, and they look like homes that people could feel comfortable living in. We will do it. We will do it. It should not have to be that people have to say, well, I live in here 30 years and I would really like some fire escapes to be installed. Even if the people not thinking about it, a government that cares would actually look at your needs, the ones that you're not even caring about, and
Mm.
address those needs,
The
right?
fact
You
that
want
people
when you
go
go to the doctor, you go to the doctor for a pain in your foot, he addressed that, but he also addressed something that you didn't even know was plaguing you.
yeah.
Come on, we need more mature politics, man.
Hadassah, the fact that people have to go and buy their own personal tank and put it on the balcony means Maloney has a water problem. So why it is HDC not buying those 10,000 gallon tanks, putting it up and running proper water to every apartment? So is an apartment with how many buildings? You must know how much water people would require. So how much tanks you would require per building. Or why Maloney itself didn't have their own water treatment facility.
Yeah, Aruka Maloney, that
And
constituency.
right? To filter water for Maloney and Aruka and all the other areas. No, but Camille cares, right? The bush high all over the place, unkept, some of the pavements in a mess, right? But
Yeah,
Camille cares.
Camille cares. I mean, Maloney could benefit from a man-made pond or lake, right? That serves two purposes. It's about beautifying the area. People could go and run around it and whatnot. But below there, it is actually a reservoir and retention pond, right? And that is supplying water to that area. And this is the type of progress we need to start thinking about. The PNM now touting all our policies. Oh, they're going and catch rainwater and all kind of nonsense. And I was like, but why it is people believe that you had 60 years to do it, but you will do it now?
Yeah, because remember the newspaper article from since 1960, water for all, water problems going to be over. And look at that, we in 2022 and we still have the same water problems, right? But that woman, that was so ridiculous. It's like I was expecting her to start to run up and down and scream. And people, to tell you how it was, right? When she walked out of the mall, the exit, she stood up right by the wall there, and ever so often she's coming to peep to see what we doing. Every so often you come in and you're peeping. So the last time somebody peeped, I waved. I was like, hey, yeah, we still here. We still here. And we were just talking about everything else other than politics. David got a serious baptism by fire there. He needs to be careful and watch it because they clearly have he as a target.
Yeah, well,
Because
I mean, we already know.
they didn't
we
come to
are
us, they came to him.
yeah, we already know that if you are and even just an activist in this country, and you speak out against the nonsense that the government does, you are considered an enemy of the state. In Trinidad and Tobago, they believe you to be patriotic when you take the jamming, when you take the pressure and abuse and say nothing.
Yeah,
That is how you show your patriotism in this country, by
yeah.
just taking all of it.
And then later on, when we finally left, we got word that they left immediately after us, right? So your whole point was just to try to scare us and run us, right? And it didn't work. So you know what's the tactic now? To go and tell them in the community, if Pep come back there, or you're not going to get contracts, or you're not going to get money, right?
Yeah,
So you want to victimize the people now.
yeah,
If a
yeah,
little meal shit, you won't get nothing.
yeah.
PNM style, and then they want to tell people, yes, great is the PNM, left foot, right foot, right? How you want people to be like, yes, I feel my party working for me, and that is their attitude. So you
Yeah,
so afraid of 6 young people walking in your area just
yeah.
to what?
And the community leader talk about it. He say, is that what she displaying there is the politics that have turned people off of the PNM. He said that what she getting on with there, say people are totally disgusted and turned off because that is their brand of politics,
Yeah,
right? That's what they do. Bully people, intimidate people, right? And threaten your livelihood,
yeah,
right? That's what they want to do.
yes, that is what they do. Because remember, I am facing my own personal victimization in my work. And it have
Yes.
many others, right? So that is the brand that they enjoy and feel it working for them, but it doesn't. And the more they do that is the more turned off. And the fact of the matter is that they were upset that he was sitting and talking to us. He was sitting and talking to us because apparently he is their go-to person to rungs up the ground. So that is what it was. The fact that he was walking with us and talking. It wasn't David Welch. It wasn't that we in the kitchen, we the lunchroom, the what is the
Food God.
food god. It's because he was sitting down with us and talking, and they didn't know what it is we were talking about, but he just liked our vibe. He liked it because if he didn't like how we were, he would have never sat down with us. He would have never talk. He'd have never tell us, what's going on, how things are. He would not share personal information.
No, no, not only that, he really talked to us about how to connect with the young people, how to
Yeah,
connect to the people, and just, caution us not to be generic and not to just be another party that come in and say, we will set all you free. La, 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 la. You
yeah,
really have to speak to the people needs and stuff like that. He talked to us, he really, really level with us. Like he want us to be able to cover some ground and to gain some ground, sorry, in that area.
yeah.
It
So that was
was
our experience
disappointing.
in
Yes.
Maloney. But I had already experienced things like that before for my election campaign when I walked about because there were other people like that. So this was actually Hadassah's first experience. That was David Welch's first experience. That wasn't Usha's. Well, Usha had already left. That was Nathaniel's first experience too. And Nathaniel was like, "Oh my God, I'm so disappointed." I said, "Nathaniel, you now start." I said, "Have plenty of more that to come."
Yeah.
I say every walk I did, I bounced up somebody like that. And I had to tell them, all right, have a good day.
Yeah.
Take back my
And
flyer because I ain't leaving nothing if you going to be going on so with me. You obviously not gonna be interested in reading it, so I take it back. Money spent for that.
yeah. Yeah. And I mean, seriously, maybe I was a bit naive thinking that, well, in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I just want to go and meet people and talk to them and let them know what we here have to offer and whatnot. But now I'm really thinking that you really cannot expect to challenge the status quo and then not get any friction back. What we are attempting to do, the type of literally trying to roll back the dark cloud over the country, it is no small feat, like no small feat. And a lot of people in the comments saying, go back and David and Goliath, and we appreciate all that. But today is one of those days I am going to solicit and ask people for your actual help. Actually, help us do it. It is a few of us literally trying to wrestle this beast that is the PNM and politics in Trinidad and Tobago. And we appreciate everybody's support. But if you really want to help us, give me a call, give Lima a call. You can contact us on Facebook or WhatsApp or whatever, and let us know what part of the country you live in and how you would like to help. And we will attach you to the community leaders or the caretakers, sorry, for your area, because we cannot do this alone. We cannot be trying to make change where most people are sitting, in the waving gallery in Piaco and there's, okay, you guys doing a good job. We
Yeah.
really need you guys' help. We need everybody to make this a reality.
And the thing is that a guy messaged me asking me if I could come and highlight some issues. So I was like, come to your phone. I say, I not live in Golden Grove.
Yeah.
You, I say, whoever's your MP, highlight it and call your MP name and say, listen, we spoke about this, blah, blah, blah. And all that. I say, All you're expecting somebody else to always come and do all your fight for all you need to start to get up now. This is not my country alone. This is our country. You had to live here too. I had to live here too. We all need to do it. We all need to put the pressure on now. You want change, you have to do it. The video I did talking about the walkover last week Saturday, in what, 3 days time they come and cut the bush?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it is happening. They're paying attention because the way I said it, they realize, oh yeah, what she say is true. Somebody could really get raped there, killed, and then we ain't want that there. So they went and they cut it.
Yep.
So people need to mind their business and do what it is they have to do. You know, you living in an area where the walkover is very dark and poorly lit and the bush high. Well, then do a video and talk about it and say, listen, ladies and gentlemen, this is the walkover by whichever flyover here. Look at the condition of this. The MP for this area is so. The councillor is so.
Yeah.
I would like you to
Do
come and do
it.
this for me because this is unsafe.
For
If
sure.
an
For sure.
elderly person walking here,
Yeah.
any female, because as you can see in this country, our women are being killed and raped. I say you have to put it in perspective for them. If I had
Yeah.
just done it, look at this bush, they would not take it on. But the fact that I said a woman could be raped, murdered,
Yeah.
and that same bush, because the bush was almost as tall as me and thick. People need to start to pay attention and put the pressure on. There's a major pothole in a certain area, highlight it, let them know, monitor the situation. They ain't think, fine, do it again. They ain't do it, fine. Then you could reach out and say, listen, I have highlighted this twice. This is the place. Could you help me? Because my volume isn't as large as yours. Maybe they would pay attention more to you. Fine. But show the effort because this is your community too. You had to live there.
Yep. Yep. That's why I keep saying, because it was last Friday, I did a post and I said, stop waiting for Philip to save you. Stop waiting for Inshan or Avanel or one of the other activists. Stop waiting for them to save you. This is your country. It's your community. Is your money that being affected when they raise fuel? Do something about it. Why we always keep waiting for somebody to save us?
Yeah. And Trinidadians need to now have a vested interest in their community, in their country. Right? Don't leave it up for anybody else. You see something wrong, highlight it.
Yeah.
And don't be afraid to call the councillor name or the MP name. That is what they want position for, to fix it. You say left foot, right foot, or we will dance in the sunset, whatever. Fine. Well then, fix it. Do it. Right?
Yeah.
That's all you have to do. Or you could go on social media and go, $2 for condiments, blah, 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 blah. Fuel prices going up. Where the same outrage for the fuel prices? Right? Where we going?
Yeah.
We need to do better. And Trinidadians need to wake up. And don't take on when Rohan Sinanan come to talk about, all you're being unpatriotic because all you're talking about the issues. Tell Rohan Sinanan to kiss you behind, because guess what? If you don't talk about it, they're not fixing it. They're not walking around in the communities to fix it on a daily basis. So obviously you have to highlight it for them to see it, to come and fix it now. That is patriotism. I want my community clean, bush cut regularly, picked up. I want garbage sorted out. I don't want to see rat running across the road to cause leptospirosis in my area. I don't want to see no African snail running up and down the place, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to feel mosquito from the time I walk from here to there. That is your government. I'm not working because they're supposed to spray. They're supposed to come and drop bait for the snail and rat.
Yeah.
They're supposed to clean up. Councillors supposed to be going around and cleaning up all those bins, all those areas where people dump in garbage. And it's either you put up a proper bin so people will throw the garbage in the bin, and then you power wash around to clean the actual dirty pavement or the area, disinfect, sanitize the place. That is your councillor job.
Yeah.
MP is supposed to be driving around and noticing, so he could call the council and say, listen, this street, what's going on with that street? That street nasty.
Yeah. And we are used to their MO. Everybody knows that you do not see the MP for your area or the councillor for your area until it's time for them to beg you for your vote again. Right? And don't be fooled. because it will seem as though, oh well, the pandemic is over, so the government is getting back to the work of the people. So you will see the government advertising all kind of projects that they plan to do. They're doing this here, they're doing that there. WASA to set up contractors to deal with the holes in the road, and they're going and start to catch rainwater and all kind of thing. And then you have to remember, oh, there's a local government that is coming up, right? That is what the PNM does. Candy and popcorn, right? Right before an election. And then for the rest of the term is jamming and pressure,
Yeah,
right?
because Sour Laventil is starved for money. Starved. They don't have the coal mix. They don't have sand. They don't have nothing to come and patch up the holes in the areas. Right? So the same way PNM starving UNC areas, they're starving their own too. So nothing can get done. Put the pressure on them.
Put the
Put the
pressure on.
pressure. Let the councillors go back and say, oh gosh, whoever is the MP, people only shining me up because we can't do nothing. We need the money.
Put the
Put
pressure on
pressure
them.
on them.
Let us not just take it, right? I remember I used to work for a company, and all the employees will be complaining about this and that and the other. And then they would call a meeting, and then they will ask, does anybody have any concerns or whatnot? And nobody says a peep. And I was like,
Mm,
so when everybody in the lunchroom talking about all the things that upset them, right? That
yeah,
impede their ability to do their job properly, like the fact that you're in a big fancy building in Port of Spain, but you just have to drive around for 10 hours to find parking in Port of Spain and all kind of nonsense. So why it is whatever. And then you speak up and then you look like a fool because you're thinking that you have the support of your colleagues. Don't let it be like that. It's
yeah,
very easy to make the person who speaks out, like Philip, is very easy to make him the enemy. But if everybody's saying the same thing, if
yeah,
everybody joining their voice, and if everybody talking about the issues in their communities and in their constituencies, and in their areas, we could start to push things forward.
exactly. 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 I experience
And
things like that in work too. People used to actually
yeah,
come and call me, Lima, come and tell the thing. I was like, so I'm to you, you don't have no balls? You don't have one answer, your thing, nothing to come and say, listen, I don't like that, you know. I don't like that. I remember a supervisor. Nobody liked this woman. Nobody. She was a real bitch, right?
she was a
And
nice lady.
yeah, she was almost like that same one we bounced up in Maloney there. And she was like that, especially to younger people, not people her age group or older. You see, to young people, she was. Oof. So at the point in time, she wanted to, I don't know, like she was feeling guilty or some kind of thing for how she is, or how people perceive her, because nobody liked to go to her for anything, right? And it was a Christmas party, and she was suggesting that instead of us have the party, that we donate the money to to our charity. So everybody grumbling under the breath, and I was like, I sit down and I listening, and I'm saying that's not a bad idea, you know. I said, but nah, well, to ease she conscience because it bothering her for whatever guilt she have, and then I was just like, I'm watching everybody, and I just getting so mad because everybody know they don't want that, they want the party, they want to have a line. You could say, yeah, we will do this, and we will set aside a little percentage of it to donate, fine, you know, but don't come and say you want us to cancel our party to do that. I was like, no, sorry. I want my ham and my jam, thank you. All they don't do jack shit for us inside of here. That is the one thing we actually have. You do that on your own personal time. And then she was like, okay. And then she just walked off and she go on her merry way back to her office. And everybody's like, oh my God. I was like, don't come to tell me nothing, because all Ollie was going to say yes, because
Yeah,
nobody wanted to say no.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And that
I
is the
mean,
general idea Trinidadians have. For
yeah,
when we have to march for for several for back pay and thing. You see some of them, oh God, all your march now. Whatever all you do, we will just get it after. I used to tell them, I wish they come and take names and all who don't march don't get nothing.
Yeah.
Honey,
Yeah. But
depending
that's
on the people, and that's the general attitude of Trinidadians now.
yeah,
All now.
exactly. I was not going to say that. That's something that we have to shake off as a people. And the thing about it is, change does not come easily. Anything that you want, it doesn't come easily, right? I just have to put myself in a lot of discomfort, right? Let me talk about how I'm non-confrontational. So when I decide to address an issue, if I do a video, if I do a post, or if I come here and I talk about it, it's a lot of discomfort that I feel talking about it, because I know what I'm going to get from my family. I know what I'm going to get from my friends. I know that I'm exposing myself to ridicule and criticism from the general public. But I want a better country. I want a better country for myself. I want a better country for my family. I want a better country for everybody.
Yeah. And the thing is, it starts with these simple things. So you see, like how I sticking it to them with fire service. Because guess what? I spoke to some people in Maloney and I told them, I said, all right, yeah, it's okay, yeah, nothing wrong. Light some fire there now, and we will see. We will see. Let anything happen in Maloney and all you require fire service assistance. Guess what? The closest station to Maloney is a Rima. A Rima, their fire truck is broken. They have no brakes in that truck, so they're not driving that truck, and they can't expect any sane person to drive a truck without brakes, especially full of water. That truck is already how much tons with water. They wouldn't be able to stop if they wanted to, and it's an emergency. They come in at a fairly fast speed, right? So which next station you think going to respond to a fire in Arima or Maloney? Obviously either Grandi or San Juan, because Tunapuna doesn't have a truck. Look how far San Juan is to Arima. Look how far Grandi is to Arima. So you know that house or that apartment building going to burn down. So if it have any kind of emergency there, people are going to be jump out of panic, fear, don't want to dead. People will jump to their deaths. So this is why I asked the guy, the community leader, I said, why it is fire service, then don't come and teach all you how to jump out of a building properly then. So you will know when you're about to hit the ground how to roll, throw a mattress out and jump. How elderly people going and do that? And then those apartment buildings so cramped, so poorly ventilated that it's going to have thick smoke. You will be able to cut it with a knife, force it thick inside of there, so people wouldn't know their bearings inside of there. They wouldn't know how to get out, where the exit is, how to jump. You would leave from one area and go into the frying pan. That is the disaster Maloney have. But Camille cares. Camille cares, yeah?
Anyway, guys. So that was our encounter on Saturday. Very surreal. I feel it has altered me a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. As a person.
Hey,
yeah,
that was that. All we should have sang was "Somebody Touch Me." Wait, as Rowley was singing. Somebody
touch me. Somebody touch me. Somebody touch my soul.
Right, and we should have sang that song for the lady and say, "Lady, if you only touch me, if you only touch me."
Yeah.
I must remember that to sing that song.
Yeah. And I already had a problem with that. The fact that they just take advantage of the skill and the talent that it took to make that mix. Right? And they're using it now for political gain, because now it's going to be part of their campaign song. They're using it before he hit the podiums and stuff like that. And I was like, in a country that really valued and cared about their young people, he would have been ensuring that all those young people who display such musical skills, the musicality and the talent and whatnot, that they had a place, they had a forum, they had an outlet, they had the support and the funding to make them into really great musicians and artists and stuff like that. We don't pour into our people. When they die, you might get a nice send off like blacks, but when you're alive, is pressure. None of our artists should be living in poverty, but a lot of them do. A lot of them toeing the line, waiting for a carnival so that they could sing a song so that they could make a little bit of money. But generally, they have no livelihood if there's no carnival and if there's no fete. We
Well,
need to
unless
be
you
able to
like,
turn that into a lucrative industry, into an actual career.
unless you're one of them like those radio DJs who sing for their supper and get eat a food contract for the where's the committee that they put hands on that up to now we can't see results from it? Recovery,
The road to
road
recovery.
to recovery nonsense. Yeah, eat a food hands, get that, and up to now we can't see where the recovery is, what it was, nothing. Hmm? And all of them who was eating a food and balling, take the jab, 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 jab my foot now, and because you don't need no
Yeah.
jab to go everywhere.
We need to continue to talk about that because Terrence Yelsing is still insisting on
Killing,
vaccinating children and
vaccinating.
whatnot. But we will talk about that on Wednesday. And during the week, we will let you guys know who our special guest is going to be on Friday. We know you guys really enjoy when we have a guest on the show.
Yes.
So, yeah, anything else before we go, Lim, before we wrap up?
No, that's about it. The next time I go in Maloney, I'm walking with my holy water. Somebody touch me. And have a little bottle with a cross on it there too. Woo, yeah. And some sage and all of that.
Oh,
We,
Lord.
we're not cast out. That right?
Oh,
But
Lord.
anybody willing to join us, please reach out. Don't be a coward. Don't be frightened and all that. Please, please. Time to stand up.
June, you were saying that you are not in Trinidad, you are abroad. I will reach out to you as to how you can help and how you too, from where you are, could put your shoulder to the wheel. All right. So
So,
yeah, guys. Yeah, guys. I am more determined. Don't be put off by me trying to process what happened today. This is my country. I have to fight for it. There's nobody waiting to swoop me away or anything like that. So I have to fix my country for myself and for generations that are coming up,
yeah, don't
right?
worry. You're still at a get from the UNC side now. And then there's cost you. Then there's cost. Oh God, all right. Yeah, so guys, let us know.
Exciting.
And yes, red lavender. Woo, yeah. So join us on Wednesday. Okay, guys?
All right, guys.
Bye.